Time to apply the law of cosines, okay? So we just talked about our law of cosines, which these are the same thing, just rearranged, depending on if we're solving for a side or if we're solving for an angle. So now we're going to have to apply them to a problem. Okay, so let's read through it. We're going to have to draw a picture, obviously, and then solve. So it says, a plane flies 810 miles from Niagara, I was going to say Nicaragua, I can't read, from Niagara to Cuyahoga. That's the coolest name I've ever read. Cuyahoga, with a bearing of north 75 degrees east. Then it flies 648 miles from Cuyahoga to Rosemount, that's in Minnesota, with a bearing of north 32 degrees east. Draw a figure that visually represents the problem and find the straight line distance and bearing from Niagara to Rosemount. Okay? So, I'm going to have you guys try to draw this on your own first. Hint. This is like a dumb hint, but whatever. You're going to have a triangle somewhere. Okay? Try on your own. If you can't figure out how to draw it, then I'll draw it. You can put me on pause, and then we'll solve the problem. Okay? So, please try. Don't just count on me. Count on yourself. So let's take a look here. So this is the Niagara. I keep wanting to say Nicaragua. Niagara, Cuyahoga, and then Rosemount. Okay, they're the distances that they have traveled at the bearings that were given. Okay, so this was the north 32 degrees east. Okay, so what we are trying to find is the distance from Niagara to Rosemount. So we want to find this length. We also want to know the bearing from Niagara to Rosemount. So you're going to want to find either, one of these two angles here, which means you need to find this middle guy. Okay? So there are some other pieces in terms of angles that you're going to have to figure out on here, but I have all the confidence in the world that you can do it. Okay? So go ahead, put me on pause, and let's try to find those things. So first and foremost, I know that this angle right here is 15 degrees because these are complementary angles. Right? So also, since these two are alternate interior angles, I know that that's 15 degrees, which makes this full angle 90 plus 32 plus 15, which is 137. Now I have all the information I need. I can solve for this side here, which I called little c, since it's across from big C. I solved for that one. I got 1,357.848 miles, right, this distance here, and using that I can also find this angle, because now I have side angle side, right? So I did that. I got that this little angle in between here is 18.994 degrees. And then, I could have figured this out either way. I just chose to use this north bearing, so I subtracted 75 minus that angle, and then I got 56.006 degrees. So final answer, it is 1,357.848 miles from Niagara to Rosemount. The bearing is north 56.006 degrees east. Okay. Let's try another. So it says 2 ships leave a port at 9 a.m. One travels at a bearing of north 53 degrees west at 12 miles per hour, and the other one travels at a bearing of south 57 degrees west at 60 miles per hour. So notice that I have a rate and I have a time. Okay, how far apart are the ships at noon? Okay, so especially if you needed a lot of help on the last problem in terms of drawing the diagram, this time try to challenge yourself and try to do most of it on your own. Okay, so go ahead. I'd like you to solve this entire problem. Okay, so unpause me when you are ready to check your answer. So remember, we had the first ship that was going at a bearing of north 53 degrees west, okay? Then we had another ship that was going south 67 degrees west, okay? And then they also told us that their rates and that they were both traveling for 3 hours. So we knew that this ship was traveled 36 miles and this ship had traveled 48 miles. And what we're asked to find is the distance between them at noon. Okay, so the biggest thing here is figuring out this angle. So we have side, angle, side. Well, if this angle right here is 53 degrees and this is 67 degrees, obviously we would just do 180 minus those two angles, and we get that it's 60 degrees in between. So I use my law of cosines here, and I get that x is 43.267 miles. And since it's a word problem, we know to respond to the word problem in words. The ships are 43.267 miles apart at noon. All right, so word problems, just make sure you guys set up the picture correctly.